answer. What else does he provide aside from the potential for that early pressure?
I don't think we've ever got an answer, you know, in the history of competitive league over whether Velko's the ideal champion in a specific situation. That's why I'm looking for another data point here. This is Maple, just carried on Aurelion Sol, who we've seen scarcely in the past, but we know its potential. Champion like Velko's, you know, over in Korea, we had Spenu playing it a couple of times. It troubled Faker in one of those series, but actually picking up the win with so many tools that deal well against the Velkos, that's the part that I don't see. I don't see the full picture here.
Exactly. The Velkos may be able to do well in a little bit of a vacuum with the team composition, but it's not going to play too well into what UOL have right now, if UOL end up playing it correctly. And I do actually want to talk about this bottom lane because we actually have Veritas, Hylissang, and then Double Red, who actually had some pretty decent performances in the last 2 games up against the Tahm Kench as well. So that's the Ashe Tahm Kench combo. They took it away so that they wouldn't have the Tahm Kench on the other side to prevent the Ashe arrow. But then this is another combination on the other side. Caitlyn Bard, ulti from Bard into Caitlyn traps. A lot of damage that you'll be able to deal and a lot of pick-off potential.
And not a great start coming in there from Double Red, tanking the early binding here. And we saw a lot of teams take the Bard away from Hylissang. It's been given over to them this time. They have it. And, you know, honestly, we saw it be very effective against a much more experienced AD carry in Wild Turtle, in Biofrost. Not experienced as a duo, but you have to wonder how Double Red's going to stand up to the insane pick potential that comes out at level 6.
Questions upon questions, but in a best of 5, I'm sure we're going to get to some of the answers to the things we're wondering about. One thing you can say about Velko's, the W-Max has certainly been the staple so far, just being able to instant wave clear through 2 Ws. Pretty low risk in that way. So at least in the early game, once you get about 3 points in that Velko's W, you're easily going to shove in Orianna before the Morellonomicon comes out for that Ori.
A lot of aggressive trading on the top side. Chachi has the luxury of range, but MMD's not done chasing him down yet. It's just going to back off in the end, but normally we expect Kennen to be a little bit more dominant in these early trades. However, MMD keeping up so far.
Yeah, it was actually really good by MMD. He got a pin with the heroic charge into the wall, so he ate double damage to the heroic charge, and then he ate the Q, both ends of it on Vizichachi, so that's a ton of damage from the Poppy.
Of course, checking in on the junglers as well. MMD, though, hey, you have to be the center. Tanks a tower shot as well. Flash traded for Flash. MMD maybe a little too thirsty for the early kills there.
I think that Flash was unnecessary at the moment. He was never going to be able to flash into auto attack range. It looked like it might even require 2 auto attacks, so you can understand the excitement for MMD. But trading flashes, given how much lane control he had, if he could just taken the flash away and had the flash advantage, that would have been pretty big.
They already TP'd back. Vizichachi got up there, and now you can see move. He's already trying to come up to the top side, but nope, they're actually going to make it back off there. All right.
Meanwhile, Karsa's on the bottom side. Nothing going to come from it. Hylissang dangerously close. Getting picked up by the Tahm Kench there. No unacquired taste stack going to come through, and he has to burn the flash in the end. So a lot of early action here for the Flash Wolves.
Really excited to see this jungle matchup. To me, these are the 2 power farmers, the 2 champions that often rack up a big CS advantage over other junglers. Very rare that both are actually active in a game. And the dueling, you'd have to think if Olaf hits that first axe, he actually wins the duels against Nidalee.
Yeah, and I want to look at it stylistically as well. Karsa as a player is very aggressive, likes to invade and move. He only invades when he thinks he can get camp out of it or get some vision. Not that aggressive jungler that goes for those ganks early right now.
Moves in and unfortunately cost him his ghost in the end. You saw Maple moving up and happy to collapse on him if he didn't just immediately run out of there. But already in the mid lane, Maple with a 5 CS advantage, and you said the early levels needs a few points in W, but now that he has it, looks to be in total control.
And Karsa, he's already invading. He knew that he chunked out move, so he's trying to find him in the jungle and trying to harass him and deny a little bit.
Move uses the smite to secure it in the end, but Karsa, hungry for blood, throws the spear. Is going to connect. Is he going to follow it up? He's going for it. First blood dropping for Flash Wolves. Karsa, is he going to drop 2?
Nope.
Makes it out of the tower range just in time. Already so much aggression from the Flash Wolves.
No room for Orianna to counter roam, either to pick up the kill and answer. So the Nidalee's going to get out. Really nice stuff from Karsa, and that's the pace.
What is Chachi doing? He's way too far forward.
Yeah, here comes Karsa, MMD, ready to set up any potential action here. The red buff ticking down. Chachi in trouble, does get the stun onto MMD in the end. Spear does go wide, still wants the execute. Not hunted, not going to get the mark. MMD hungry for blood.
Oh.
Dashes to the creep to make it to safety. Red buff ticks, but Chachi walks out with his life. No TP, however, to return to lane.
And this is just really bad for Unicorns Love. Top half of the map, they've already had their jungler be a little bit dominated now by Karsa, and then Vizichachi to boot. Oh, wasn't doing well in the early game from the get-go, and now, despite everything, he's actually in an okay spot because he's 10 CS up.
And despite the fact that the Olaf might have the advantage in the dueling if he hits the first act, the big disadvantage he has, he doesn't have the ability to pounce over walls, doesn't even take flash. So these invading missions move is kind of feeling like he's forced to go into the enemy jungle. But if he's collapsed on, especially pre-6, doesn't have the mobility in Italy, and he'll just give more kills over to the Flash Wolves.
Does in the end on that invade get the Wolf Spirit up, so we'll have a little bit more vision onto Karsa. Takes the opportunity after seeing Karsa on the top side, but does, as you said, have to be careful. That first one cost him so much. However, top lane, normally expected to be so favored for Kennen. Yes, he has the massive CS advantage, but MMD consistently bullying him out here for damage, and if that transitions into a kill, it could turn around the lane.
Exactly. Ultimately, it's what does this mean for MMD, because he's not ahead in gold. He's actually not even ahead in experience right now over Vizicachi. Has nothing really going for himself, despite the pressure that he's had. It hasn't made anything of it.
Of course, now checking in on the bottom lane. Approaching level 6 for Veritas. Hylissang a little bit behind after an early back. Swordart potentially overstaying his welcome. Ghost comes in from move. The low cooldown, an absolute boom, but Swordart has the thick skin. Isn't going to have to pop it. We'll get the healing instead.
Just a nice bit of damage there. No need for Swordart to use either of his summoners, so can recall, also has a potion to pot, so he's going to be okay in that scenario. So a real big gain for the Unicorns of Love. A little bit of lane control on bot.
So far, a very even early game, despite the kill going over to Nidalee. Interestingly enough, the CS lead maintained for Maple, but not growing. Caitlyn and Ashe going back and forth in the CS department as well. So really waiting for a major breakpoint here from either team. Bot lane appears to be taking control, but Poppy also pushing in on the top side, and pressure feels relatively even.
Right now, Karsa, he knows that the blue buff came up once again.
Exile moving forward. Waiting, maybe gonna look for the steal here. Smite does come out. Spear.
Went over to Exile, he got it.
So close in that exchange. Absolutely crucial for Orianna to get this in the early game, as Vel'Koz known for some of those terrifying early base damages, the potential for the passive there. And Exile still gonna be able to clear these waves, still gonna be able to keep up, at least for now.
Yeah, without the blue buff, you would have to think the double W would just, there'd be no way for Exile to match the wave pressure. So very important the blue buff transfer goes on. Both sides clearly knew that, with Karsa moving up. And speaking of moving up,
Trying to go, looking for it. Axe does connect. The chain slow is ready and available. Maple has the flash. Are they gonna keep going? Karsa ready for the turnaround. Unicorns of Love have to back off.
But right now, what do they end up doing with this on Unicorns of Love side? Now they have an inside track onto the enemy blue buff. They know that it's up. They know that Vel'Koz took a lot of damage. Are they going to try to make something of this is the question.
Swordart taking a cheeky opportunity to lay down the ward, potentially risky, but takes the chance. Is going to have a little bit more vision, a little bit more information. We'll know now if Unicorns of Love want to push, want to try to contest that blue buff. Instead, it looks like choosing to back off.
Yeah, we always look for that next step, you know, getting the maximum out of just chunking out an opponent, not expecting a lot of lane pressure for even a blue buff Vel'Koz without any summoners. He actually has to get into pretty close range to the minion wave to be able to clear it, theoretically close to the command attack shockwave range. So expect Maple to have to be super defensive until he has any summoners back up.
Something that I expect to happen in the near future here is Hylissang, once he hits 6, going mid, there's no summoner spells for that Vel'Koz. It would be an easy pickoff for the way that he's been playing Bard today. Just throw out the Tempered Fate, hit him with the ultimate, and have the follow-up.
There's so much to respect in terms of CC on the side of Unicorns of Love. You think of team fights, sure the Tahm Kench can negate an attack onto one of Ashe or Vel'Koz, but they're both pretty similarly going to be rooted in position during team fights when they're trying to put out damage, and Tahm can only choose one. So target selection, both for the Tahm Kench and then obviously for the Unicorns of Love in team fights, is going to be really interesting to track.
Sort of taking a bit of poke, but you just got to think about the potential for mobility here. You have the Magical Journey, you have the Abyssal Voyage. Both teams the potential to move around the map very quickly to make strong, map-based plays, but also, as you said, the potential to start fights on their terms. The Ashe Arrow, the Tempered Fate, Kennen even with the potential for TPs, and it's the same story for Poppy as well.
Hylissang go for a walk.
You just got to wait. Every time, you can never be sure when that Tempered Fate is going to come out. Looks like he's going to hold on to it for now, but Exile is here. Maybe the potential to go in. They go through the journey, looks at, gets the cat. Ooh, just so good on the shockwave there, and Swordart could be down. Looks like they are going to back off in the end. Caitlyn ulti not going to follow up.
Yeah, no flash there as well from Double Red. It looks like they weren't expecting that, and they got swept out, and then immediately comes through, and maybe they weren't expecting the Orianna on top of it.
Yeah, the Double Red's job this game is going to be very different to the one in the previous game. He had an Aurelion Soul that could go into a side lane. Remember, this time, it is the Vel'Koz who's going to want to stay in mid, pick up blue buff, be behind a turret. it's not just going to be Hurricane Ash predictably wave clearing, getting into the late game easily. He's going to have to be a bit more on his toes, and already caught out with both summoners.
Definitely a solid trade in favor of the Unicorns of Love. Not a massive gold lead, but they're happy to now have the edge on the bottom side of the map, and Exile especially may just be stuck in a battle of wave clear when it comes to facing his lane opponent, but already making a larger impact when it comes to moving across the map.
Nice trades of Vizicachi. This lane's going to be pretty similar to Jace versus Poppy, that of course people are going to be a bit more familiar with since we saw it throughout the World Championships especially. I feel like Kennen's going to fall off in terms of having turret threat compared to the Jace a little bit early, but the team fight, that's where Kennen is much more powerful than Jace, so both of them are going to be very strong primary initiators, both top laners.
Yeah, difference is Jace's teleports, not as effective as both of these top laners' teleports. So the Poppy is also very effective and can go to other places, but you can see the MMD is falling quite a bit behind in CS currently, but it is being made up by Maple in the mid lane, who has been having a rather good time despite the attention. He's already at the 10 per minute mark in terms of CS on this Vel'Koz, so he's been farming up a Storm, and he's just looking to scale a bit into this game.
While the farm is good for Maple, a lot of questions remain around the Vel'Koz, yet to have any major impact. Push waves as predicted, but outside of that, nothing really to show for it. Hasn't gone down, hasn't lost anything, but really expecting a lot from this final pick.
Just the why. Why a Vel'Koz in this particular situation? You can understand if he has a big wave clear advantage, it makes sense, but Orianna, wave clear becomes seminal with her eventually. Sure, he can put out a lot of long-range damage, much like a Jhin in team fights, but he's rooted doing so, and there's so many different ways to close the gap on him on the side of Unicorns of Love that we're just waiting for that flashbulb moment to really show us, demonstrate to us why it was the Vel'Koz.
Oh, could be this one right here. A lot of damage. Karsa moving in. Exile not quite marked up by the triple stack on the passive.
Ooh, the Ghost, though.
Yeah, did actually get the Summoner spell out of him, and he hasn't had any extra help here, but Maple...
This is interesting pathing choice. Exile potentially caught out here.
He does have Olaf, but Nidalee is there too.
Oh, pulls it forward. Maple in trouble. Does not have the flash yet. He's going to drop, and Karsa, Spear not going to connect. Move with a nice sidestep to block the mid laner.
I really like Exile spacing in lane, moving towards the top left side because Olaf was invading as well, baiting out the Vel'Koz from walking up. One shockwave later, Olaf's in place. Nice stuff, Unicorns of Love.
But that also makes you feel very safe if you were Maple, because your jungler's also on that side. So you're like, okay, this Orianna's playing towards my side where the jungler is. He's going to get killed, and that's what baited him in.
Interesting as well. Unicorns of Love, decent advantage, and we now look to the jungle position. Karsa, standard build path coming out, but some interesting moves coming in from Move in the jungle with his choices here.
Yeah, I love the Righteous Glory. He did it previously on Olaf, and it's just to enable his team to get in, especially Vizicachi and himself. Those both need to get to the backline, the Kennen and the Olaf both. If they can reach that Vel'Koz, that Ashe, they pretty much make it so the damage dealers have to focus them, and they're not focusing somebody like your Orianna or Caitlyn.
Yeah, it's not quite like the Shurelya's Olaf back in the day because you don't have that team-wide utility, but because he always gets into the fight, the slow can be very powerful. It makes you super, super fast. These trades, we knew they were going to go towards MMD, and look at this.
Oh, looks like he's going to get the setup, the Q going down. Chachi running for his life. The flash available, goes in, gets the wall bang, knocks him down.
It just doesn't get much better from here for the Kennen, so bit of a worry now for Unicorns of Love on top. Karsa never takes an opportunity to miss the turret dive.
Want to keep the ball rolling. Hylissang caught out and lasered down. Quick staring contest from the Vel'Koz. He comes out on top. Karsa moving forward, doesn't connect the Spear. Veritas now set to fall. He's going to get taken down. Move is in the wrong place at the wrong time. Not going to get anything in the end.
And they just took advantage of the gaps of vision in UOL's jungle. You can see Flash Wolves own this bottom side of the jungle. They own the way to the dragon, and they own the way to the bottom side, and they just owned Unicorns of Love.
Just these coupling the advantages, taking stock of the fact they got a solo kill on top and made the superior rotation in bot, and suddenly it all starts to fall apart on some level for the Unicorns of Love. It's also going to be the soloing of the Cloud Drake for Flash Wolves.
End of the day, it's not the Vel'Koz setting the pace here, but the Nidalee moving in to help make these plays happen. Maple with some nice positioning on the back half of that fight, and Flash Wolves very clearly in control as their bottom lane moves on to the top side of the map.
Now suddenly, you can just park the duo lane against the Kennen, negate the ranged versus melee advantage that Kennen had had, and things look pretty comfortable for Flash Wolves.
Exactly where they want to be. A small CS lead for Ashe. Mid lane relatively even now. Karsa with a decent lead. Righteous Glory for Move, not a purchase that has been able to use yet. Hylissang potentially in trouble. MMD just going for a bit of poke there.
Say a bit of poke. Looked like a pretty solid chunk to me.
Just going to half health him. A little bit of poke. A little bit. Just 50%.
Rotating to top actually does help out. That I talked about the awkward period where both Vel'Koz and Hurricane Ash are going to want to be in the mid lane. Rotating the top, again, we're delaying that part where they will have to assign one of Vel'Koz and Ash to a side lane where they're going to be very easy to be preyed upon.
Now Unicorns of Love, not quite sure what their intention is here. May look for the dive on MMD, instead just auto-attacking the tower. Hylissang taking as many shots as possible, seemingly determined to get back some of the structural gold and even up the difference between them, but it's just going to be the one-for-one trade in the end.
Yeah, but can you continue to push down? This Kennen is much squishier than that Poppy and easier to rip through, so if they can actually reach him, Double Red has the arrow.
Flash available, Chachi, sidestep, no, still connects. Chachi potentially in trouble, leaping forward, uses the Protobelt to get to safety. Volley going to connect, but no follow-up here. Maple looking for the solo kill, not gonna get it. Exile turns it on him.
G Fuel MVP, baby. Exile in the mid lane.
It's just such an impressive showing for a guy, rookie in the summer split, comes internationally, still in his comfort zone, has played super, super well and vindicating the early MVP award to him.
And this is the question mark, of course, what the Vel'Koz provides, and clearly it is not the 1v1 potential in that circumstance. Orianna's damage, instantaneous. Vel'Koz wants to channel that laser. It's just a little too easy for Exile, but it still costs him a ton of life, and Flash Wolves are here to capitalize.
Yeah, great rotation there, using the Abyssal Voyage to get there rather quickly, but Exile just has so much in terms of the wave clear department.
Of course, Flash Wolves backing off in the end, do get down a decent amount of damage. Unicorns of Love behind by a little less than 2K at this stage in the game. A little more, rather. You can take a look at it one more time.
Oh, that was absolutely monstrous. Exile pretty much 100 to zeros him there, and Exile only took about 20% of his own HP.
I mean, this matchup is really intricate because both champions have to move up to either position the ball or go for the W, and it's all about respecting the different variables available. If the Vel'Koz is ahead, he just walks up in the lane whenever the Orianna starts to move forward to move the ball, hit an E, and then you go for a combo of your own. But it's Exile playing with his tail up. He's in form. He's had a great tournament so far, and he's the one holding down Maple, someone who ran rampant in our last series.
Unicorns of Love now pushing down the mid lane. The itemization tells the same story as you do, Papa Smithy. Needlessly large rod coming in for Exile. Negatron Cloak coming in for Maple on the opposite side.
Yeah, likely to be a death cap. Luden's Echo, obviously an outside opportunity there with the build path that's currently been taken. Rylai is also a possibility as we've returned to Pauseville.
Well, as long as we're here.
Yeah, it might be the Rylai's. I've seen it before from Exile specifically, I believe, earlier in the tournament.
Swiffer was doing it as well.
Yeah, it's actually a fantastic item in order for these guys to actually catch up to things like Ash, Vel'Koz. You hit him once, he's slowed, everybody's going to catch up to him, right? I mean, also the Negatron Cloak is a little strange because Abyssal Scepter would be what you would think would turn into, right? Vel'Koz's effective range, or the way he likes to play from, is way shorter than that range. I believe they're pretty damn small.
Yeah, I mean, while it's very likely that people will be on top of you as Vel'Koz, it feels like you've already lost the fight at that point. So defensive itemization maybe just to survive here, but Abyssal definitely not playing for the ideal scenario, rather the one that he's in currently.
I mean, you're comparing it to a champion like Lux, right? Where Lux will just often go for things like Medjos, things for full AP builds, and it's basically, well, I have 1,000 range on my abilities. If someone gets closer, I'm dead anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a double AP composition. I don't blame him for doing it at all. Because the Kennen, if he does get to you, well, if I have the Negatron Cloak, I have a chance to survive. If I don't, then I'm definitely dead.
Moving forward. Chachi caught out on the bottom side. Carson is here to punish. Essentially overextending. Tanks the spear on the way out. Not at all what he wanted. The Chain CC coming in, looking for a kill back. Not going to get it. Primal Surge more than enough to heal the wounds.
Really nice stuff there. This Poppy has been at arm's length ahead of Vizichachi earlier than expected, earlier than the Poppy versus Jace matchup we frequently see. Been able to itemize very easily into the magic resist, but can even go to Sunfire Cape, which lets you know how comfortable the Poppy feels. They can go to Sunfire Cape against double AP.
Move, throwing down a little bit of poke. We'll pick up the axe, rethrow, gonna miss on the reconnect. However, using the ghost.
Committing on it.
Double Red has the arrow up and available. Not going to have to use it in the end. And Chachi, despite the massive CS lead, you know, just even on gold because of the chain ganks that have come down, and really feels like he's maybe getting over-aggressive here.
It's been the level of being able to actually take advantage of those ganks. When Karsa has visited lanes, they've been able to pick up kills. Otherwise, been farming. Still is 43 CS ahead of another power farmer in Olaf and had more kill involvement. So as you know, the Karsa's just ahead of moves straight up.
Oh no, Carson may have bit off more than he can chew. Unicorns of Love waiting in the bush. Set up from the bar, not quite going to connect.
Optimistic.
Goes back off. Do get the flash from Karsa in the end, as well as secure control over the brush there. But not much going to come of that gank.
And now it's just all about getting that vision control for your next move. Mid lane turret's going to be one that's quite hard to knock down, because if both of these wave clear mids can play from a very long range, you'd have to dive them. So you're waiting for somebody like MMD to actually get enough armor when he was building magic resistance early to actually go for a dive, or have the Tahm Kench help out. Whereas if you look at the other side, UOL, their Olaf isn't ready to dive at all. He has the Righteous Glory, but he needs a little bit more armor before he can actually go after those turrets.
You can see what the plan is for Unicorns of Love. Ashe and Tahm Kench rotate. They want to take this mid turret. They're looking to dive it potentially as well. Turret's starting to fall low. It's about 30% HP.
Veritas doing what he can to clear. As he's farming, dodges the arrow. Double Red maybe a little over-aggressive on the placement. Move wants to get frisky, moving forward.
Just have to be a turret dive.
No options for coming in. Double Red taking the damage anyway. A little bit late on the swallow from Tahm Kench.
And now they're going to have to try to siege here. Veritas, if he sets up traps, 3 ranks in it currently, ended up going for the Peacemaker Max first. And this is going to be a difficult siege. Both these compositions actually play pretty well from a siege position.
There is a ward for the Poppy to come in from the backside. It's going to do that.
There he goes.
Here comes the flank. They want the tower anyway. Unicorns of Love are going to stick to it, but how are they going to get out of this scenario? Exile trying to run his way out. Hylissang in trouble. Spear not going to connect. Chachi low health, but no one there to follow up.
Chachi has ult still.
Both teams backing off. Maple not seeing the setup for the ult, and Unicorns of Love come out on top.
Yeah, Flash was first instant to go in, of course, looking for the pop, and then they realize, oh crap, we don't actually have that outer turret. Flash cannon, there's no ability to kite back like there was before. So both teams go out. Flash will still want to answer with the mid lane turret, though. Cannon's back, but still going to be difficult to outpush this Orianna.
Maple looking for the angle to throw down a bit of harass. Gonna have to recall all the days. Geometry, but not going to find it today. Carson picking up the blue buff for himself as he takes it away from the Unicorns of Love. That will be relatively major in the coming moments. And possibly you said Luden's Echo, a rare chance. Looks like it might be what Exile's going for, or do you think we're just getting the Aether Wisp for the extra mobility?
I think almost certainly it has to be the Luden's Echo, because you have the 2 constituent parts there. There's always the outside chance, something crazy, but for now, we will call it the Ludens. I don't think it's going to be Lichbane onto the Orianna.
Yeah, it's
I'm sure it's been done before.
That's the thing, it's Unicorns of Love, right? You can't be confident. You want to say never, but you don't know for sure. That
I mean, it's the Flash Rolls throwing the curveballs. We have a last pick Velcos to consider here.
And the siege coming out is pretty impressive. Decent defensive tools with the Tahm Kench on the backside, but they can only save one person. For now, it is Double Red, but that tower almost entirely taken down, and Maple throwing down a large amount of damage. Move in the meantime, though, takes the Mountain Drake.
Double Red has actually been doing wonders for Flash Wolves. He's actually been a quite good substitution here. He's doing great work. He's up in CS. He's synergizing quite well with Sword Art. They're in a lane where they have a range disadvantage, and also it's not even a range support on his side. He has the Tahm Kench, and yet they've been able to set things up constantly.
And the team fight phase is going to be super interesting, considering the positioning of first the Velcos, then the Ashe. They can't be next to each other, then they're going to eat the AoE CC, whether it's from the Bard, the Orianna, or the Cannon. They also have to synergize really well with their support. So positioning for Ashe, even with Tahm Kench, where you think, okay, I've got an out, not necessarily, given just how many options Unicorns of Love have.
Oh, Karsa caught out. That's a lot of damage.
Dead.
Chachi picking up the kill in the end, but look at the proactive play from Exile.
Roaming up towards this Baron, there is some vision here. It's worth noting for the Flash Wolves. They certainly know this has started. Scrying Orb as well.
Coming and killing it pretty quickly.
No,
they have a lot of damage threats. Poppy on the way, Velcot's on the way, Double Red over the wall. The arrow is up and available. Unicorns of Love walk away with the Baron 23 minutes in.
A beautiful call there as well. They pick off Karsa. They don't have to use much for it at all, and they take down the Baron, and now they're rotating top, instantly going to cash in.
And this is something in a VOD where you can pause and say, okay, Karsa needed to flash because he knew his Poppy didn't have teleport. He was just surprised by the damage. He had some magic resist. When he went down, Poppy's completely out of position, and credit to Unicorns of Love, making the proactive call, the sort of things that Flash Wolves and other teams at this tournament like Longzhu have struggled to do. And now suddenly the game blown open for the Unicorns of Love.
The power of Baron evening up to gold, the tower giving them a slight lead. Unicorns of Love in the driver's seat.
Yeah, actually I do want to touch on that because Karsa was out and still there with 2,000 gold. When he died, he purchased from an Amp Tome straight to Athene's Unholy Grail.
So he didn't even have that magic
Exactly.
resist.
He was like, oh my god, I need magic resist now because that just happened to me. But you shouldn't be out with that much gold when you can't afford that item. Maybe he was clearing Raptors for that last little bit, but that's still really greedy to be sitting on that much.
And while Karsa and Maple are taking some defensive measures, not the same case for Double Red, and he may need to, because look at the amount of raw AP being picked up for Exile. Doesn't even need pen items, just going straight for that death.
And Unicorns of Love are going for the bulldozer approach.
Wants to get in there. Vel'Koz over the wall is doing a lot of damage. Hylissang not going to get the kill. Ooh, Shockwave not connecting. Almost disaster there for Flash Wolves, but they're holding on for now.
Yeah, Unicorns Love not making the percentage play. They're not bringing out minion waves. They want to dive.
Connects with Maple. Ooh,
just get damage on turret.
Taking the tower in the end. Vel'Koz getting a little frisky. MFD goes in again. Chachi going to get cut down. Sword Art gets aggressive on the front side, but they will not pick him up. Karsa looking for a way into the back line. Leaps forward. Not going to get anyone. Flash out to safety. Now Move has to Ghost. Has to try to find a way out, but MFD is fearless. He's going to get the double stun. Doesn't look like there's any follow-up. Keep your eyes on the Ori.
Double Red almost has his ultimate. It's about to come up. It's off right now.
Ash Arrow up available. Hylissang, are you playing too far forward? They're ready to moment's notice to turn this one back. Flash Wolves back in control of the game, have a decent lead now. They do not care about the Baron buff. They're barreling down for the tier 2. Chachi going to fall. The shield comes in. Yes, they do get the kill in the end, but it's so close to getting away. Exile, not quite enough for shields.
Yeah, Exile will have the Orianna ultimate available in about 5 seconds. That's why Move persisting.
Ragnarok, there's no tools to stop him from moving into the backline, but he's going to back off of his own volition. Exile hungry for blood. He wants a little bit more. He's getting so much damage down. Not going to be enough. Karsa moving forward. Veritas, can he stop Karsa from getting in? No, the shockwave, the misplay. It doesn't matter. The damage is too much, and Karsa gets popped.
Ash is completely out of position. Double Red backing, is taking his time. Also out of position is another member. Wow,
Chachi, that's a lot of damage, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Pop goes Maple. Unicorns of Love pushing up mid.
Yeah, they still have the Baron buff as well for a little bit longer here. It's about 3/4 of the way done, so that's going to be enough to push up, get it, this turret, and they only have an Ash and also a Tahm Kench to defend. They have to play this safe on Flash Wolf's side or else they'll lose even more.
I mean, Flash Wolves overstay. They weren't realistically going to get that inner turret. Doesn't matter if you get a kill on Hylissang, it's just the support. And they're going to pay a pretty hefty penalty in their first inhibitor of the game.
And there's even a gigantic wave on the bottom side, and it looks like it's being prepped right now, and the vision from Hylissang is also coming out on that side. So he's prepping it. They'll back possibly, or they'll just continue to shove. There are about 5 seconds left on Maple here.
You just keep thinking about the Vel'Koz last pick. Remember, last pick, they had full information of the 5 picks, and if this was a game 3 where Flash Wolves were 2-0 up, what would you call this? It'd be just like when we saw the Fiora lock-in from Smer, be like, oh, this is a confidence pick. He's styling a little bit. This is the first game of a best-of-5, and he made the measured choice of the Vel'Koz, and it really hasn't been the game breaker it intended to be.
I'd call it a bit of a mistake as well, because then you have 3 losing lanes.
True.
And especially when it doesn't go your way.
Oh,
I
just love Exile. So aggressive, looking for whatever he can.
2 seconds from his ultimate being off cooldown. It finally comes off. Doesn't end up hitting Karsa with that, but Veritas had his back.
Yeah, perfect play in the end there. Anticipates that Nidalee is going to make it in. Veritas says, no, I got you with the trap. So at the end, the ult does not connect, but still makes it out with some confidence. Chachi, of course, just the last moment of styling.
Yeah, Double Red and Maple completely out of position. One recall goes through, but of course they need both wave clear members full health for an inhibitor turret not to go down. Unicorns of Love turning this around. Remember, this was Flash Wolves' game not 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, and then a very bold call from UOL to take the Baron at 23 minutes when they had caught Karsa out. Now the Baron is gone, but they just get to keep sieging now.
Oh, Exile's caught. The Bardock goes in, cancels the Vel'Koz. Hylissang gets the stun for follow-up. The Poppy TP is canceled, but she continues to push on the top side and is breaking down towers.
It's only an inner turret. There's no more than that. They will have to take significantly more penalty here. Still do have Flash available for Chachi, but not enough health. So for now, inner turret will actually stay up.
Yeah, Exile's going to have to actually back and go towards that top side. He is already 2 levels up over Maple, and he's going to get even more experience off of this. But I'll probably give over this Drake to UOL, despite the fact that Poppy, you know, no teleport, no way to join this. So it's a pretty confident move here.
Yeah, it's just going to be a answering Cloud Drake. It's just going to ensure that there are no little advantages when it comes to the engage. Coming through it later in the game.
And surprisingly, the gold is just about dead even. 300 just does not matter at this stage of the game. The Cloud Drake and the Mountain, just the Mountain in favor of Unicorns of Love, as Flash Wolves have a Cloud of their own. But the inhibitor, maybe the bigger concern for Flash Wolves at this stage.
Oh, absolutely. They have to be able to defend that, and it's just constant wave pressure. And these 2 outer turrets that are remaining, and 2, I guess, inner turrets, as we like to call them, tier 2s. Which one does Unicorn want to play towards right now? Because the Drake just went down. You play towards the bottom side, you can possibly open up more options for you in the future on the Baron, or you play for the top side one, the harder one, or the one to get right now, but then it means that if you do end up in a situation where you're 4-1 split pushing in the Baron, you can get a tier 2 on the bottom side with your split pusher much easier.
Yeah, it's good to see Unicorns of Love playing 3 lanes. They have so much pressure mid.
Oh, perfect portal. Gets stunned as he's already starting the animation. It is going to make it out in the end. Very close scenario there. Hylissang very forward for the entirety of this game.
Chachi's no teleport, neither does MMD. They're trying to move Vision forward with Baron spawning in 40 seconds.
Of course.
Exile's so monstrously strong at this point. Extra needlessly large rod on top of the Ludens, Morellonomicon, and the Void Staff. Style choice, though, no death cap. The extra movement speed from Ludens, slight bit of burst, sure, but no death cap. Basically means the shields are lower, but with 10% extra move speed, he's looking to sidestep the Ashe. He's looking to sidestep some of the Velko's CC. Otherwise, you'd see death cap 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, absolutely. You thought it was going to be a death cap there. He had all the components to make it.
Yeah,
you would
clearly.
assume. But I guess he sees that the Poppy is getting a little bit tankier and that there's also some magic resist coming in. So being able to shred through it, this also helped him kill Double Red in one combo.
Definitely exactly where they want to be. Baron now up and available 30 minutes into the game, 7-7 in kills, 52 to 52K, almost dead even. Big breakpoint will be the next fight. An inhibitor down in favor of the Unicorns of Love, but Flash Wolves were in control for this game for so long. The Vel'Koz remains the question mark.
Wave clear for now. The Baron buff, the big objective on the map. You have to think the driver's seat is Unicorns of Love, having that inhibitor down. But now, Karsa feels confident enough to walk up to his creeps, his monsters, sorry, and clear them. So pressure hasn't quite been there from Unicorns of Love after their very decisive first Baron take.
UOL pushing in, flashes up and available for every member of every team. Cooldowns all available. The next fight will be explosive. No one has a massive advantage, but Unicorns of Love are looking to build one with Vision as they start to clear out here.
That's also the Smite as well coming out from move. So Flash Wolves know he won't have it for about 15 seconds. That's one charge down. But also, the Smite fight would be really risky because Karsa's level 16. He's 2 levels up over move. It's always a little bit riskier when he's got 2 levels.
And additionally, paired with the execution in the cat form, the takedown, a lot of potential burst damage onto the Baron. Unicorns of Love not as confident in pulling the trigger here without Karsa off the table.
Yeah, it kind of seems like they're trying to bait back and forth, trying to catch somebody. The middle inhibitor has respawned, and that might be where they would try to push next, but MMD is doing a really good job of applying pressure to the bottom side. He keeps pulling Vizichachi away, so they can't find a lot of those little peaks.
So the correct play here for Unicorns of Love is a couple of people invading the red side and setting up flank wards for the Kennen. They're going to put down a pink ward, they're going to start Baron, and if Kennen comes from the backside, there really isn't much of an answer for Flash Wolves to a Kennen engage. So for now, you look and you see with the double pinks down, there are no Kennen flank wards around Baron, and that means that Unicorns of Love can't really advance the game any further, and that just leads to this stall right now as both teams kind of reassess and look for that all-important initiation.
Yeah, and it's going to even take longer for UOL because they just had all of their vision cleared out of the Baron pit. They're pretty much taking stock of everything, clearing out the jungle, getting Veritas that red buff as well as Exile the blue buff, and backing, buying, making sure that they're all ready for this one moment where they can ward up the Baron and start pushing from there and try to get that vision that you're talking about.
Move, locking down what vision he can in the meantime, but of course, as you guys mentioned, both teams just waiting for a mistake, looking for an opportunity, playing out the game. It's formulaic for them. They've been here. This is the Baron bait. This is the Baron dance we know so well. Neither one going to give up any major opportunities yet, but someone's going to slip up eventually. Someone's going to go to clear a ward that they shouldn't clear. Someone's going to overstep or overpush or use their TP in the wrong place, and at that moment, the other team can just explode into the lead.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting one to track. It felt like Flash Wolves, the Nidalee was getting ahead, the roams were coming off, Move was second to every engage, like, okay, Flash Wolves, they're parlaying what they did in the previous series into this one, but Unicorns of Love steadied, and specifically the carries here, Maple and Double Red on champions that are very punishing if you're out of position. You've been caught out of position a couple of times, Karsa caught around the Baron that led to the start of Unicorns of Love's advantage, and now it's all up in the air. So we're just waiting for there to be the wards to allow the flanks, to allow the initiation, because Double Red, he's not looking for picks. Basically, Flash Wolves are kind of licking their wounds at this point, and Unicorns of Love, they're the ones that are begging, they're just trying to find, they want to force a fight, but only really Baron is going to get a fight out of Flash Wolves.
Absolutely. they'll be able to defend. They keep putting MMD in a side lane to split push, so you have to kind of bait the Baron, possibly bait a teleport, or also get your own teleport in a really good spot, and they just haven't been able to get those wards just yet, because that requires you pushing up. It doesn't seem like Unicorns of Love are really selling like Doran's Blades on Vizicachi or anything for pink wards, or making sure that they're backing and having their inventory stocked with them just yet, because they don't have any on the ground, and they also don't have any in their inventories, except for one from Hylissang.
And the one thing you can say for Flash was look at some of these CS numbers. They actually have advantage in every member except for the mid lane. The mid lane's about 30 down, but they have an advantage on the Poppy because Poppy's just been sitting in a side lane, whereas Kennen has been grouping. Big advantage in the jungle, expected after the advantage that Nidalee had. But also, even Double Red, he's picked up 45 more CS than a Caitlyn in one of the most safe wave clearers. So the scores are even, but so much of the gold and the slight gold lead here is because Flash Wolves have kept up their CS farming throughout this game.
Yeah, down one turret, but they still have all of that farm. And it was almost MMD. He used to be behind Vizicachi in farm, if I remember correctly. The Kennen had an edge over that Poppy for so long, and then eventually, because of the split push and the nature of the Poppy-Kennen matchup, then he actually takes control of it and just starts having a split push advantage with the Sheen and with the fact that he clears the waves pretty quickly.
I mean, the cost of going for these wards, looking for those Kennen wards, is that you're grouping and the Poppy's just chilling, taking free free minion waves in the bot side. But if you don't get the wards, then you just gave away 40 CS to your opponent. You just gave away minions. Literally, this is just a case that minions are dying to turrets or just dying to minions on the side of the map that Unicorns Love just aren't able to claim because they're tunneled on getting vision to start a fight, but they're not getting it. So in essence, they're just giving over free resources to Flash Wolves.
Of course, still waiting on a fix here for Karsa. Should be taken care of soon. In the meantime, however, have to wonder who's going to make the first misstep. We talked about it earlier, and really what the opportunities are to do so, because it seems like, honestly, MMD and Vizicachi, the two split pushers, have just not been making any mistakes for aggression outside of the few missteps from Vizicachi in the early game.
It's really kind of been Hylissang that's been walking forward and trying to make those aggressive plays. Sometimes he's getting a little bit caught out, but he's also catching other people out, and he's just putting himself at risk. Otherwise, there haven't been too many risks taken by either side, even to this point. I do want to touch on something with the pauses, though, because you have to be able to keep yourself sharp. You have to keep track of the game and the pauses. Even if it lasts like 2 minutes, you walk away, come back, you still have to remember the state of the game, what you were intending to do, what you want to do next, and how you're trying to play this out, and not get frustrated either. The focus is so important when these types of moments happen. To just jump right back on the railroad track and keep going, that's very difficult to do, and it may throw somebody off.
Of course, game one as well. Have to stay strong. It is going to be not just a battle of, you know, each and every one of these games, a battle of mental fortitude as we push into potentially a longer series, as these guys do seem to have a lot of parity. Very close in the gold line. Very close coming out of the mid game, but Karsa,
Trap.
potentially caught again. No CC going to go down for follow-up. That could have been the Baron for Unicorns of Love, or maybe a big fight, but Karsa makes it out with his life. Cooldowns traded back and forth.
There's a lot of rhetoric for Karsa.
Oh. Hylissang in trouble. Hylissang potentially the one to get caught out. The chances he comes in, will he be able to make it through the portal? He is healed up as well. Veritas on the lookout for his team, but that's summoner spells now in favor of Flash Wolves.
Until the blood pressure is starting to rise for both these teams, it's actually Flash Wolves are the ones that are looking for that important pick, even onto Hylissang, taking him out. Being able to clear all the vision around Baron would be massive. Inches away from doing so, but not quite yet.
You talk about summoner spell advantage. It's that teleport. Vizicachi no longer has that. He's going to have to start grouping with the team, possibly making a fight start, and that's what he's looking for here.
Now the pressure is on Unicorns of Love to make the proactive play. Flash Wolves get the luxury of reacting to whatever they do. The teleport gives them the freedom to be responsive, to put MMD on the bottom side, just to let them push and to steadily build advantage. Chachi, in the meantime, has to play safe, has to be careful here.
Sheen in the inventory, so a bit of damage towards turrets available for MMD. Not quite the Iceborne Gauntlet yet that we're heavily predicting to come in, but cannot leave it too much free time for the Poppy. Take a inner turret. Will be the first turret falling in a while, just because otherwise it's basically been a stalemate around Baron.
Second Cloud Drake now coming in for the Unicorns of Love. Elder Dragon will be on the table in about 6 minutes, so the split for objectives potential is there, although Unicorns of Love will struggle to take down that dragon. Double Cloud, of course, not the biggest buff to have, but the extra movement speed will be welcome on the team, especially as long as Chachi has that TP down.
Yeah, the person I'm looking at on Unicorns of Love to actually put into place what we've been musing about, those aggressive wards, has to be Move. He's the one who has the Ragnarok. Ghost is on a very low cooldown, be available about 45 seconds. It should be the likes of Hylissang and Move moving as a unit into the red side jungle to actually put down a couple of those wards and facilitate some sort of deep vision. There is a pink in that Raptor Brush, but that's all there is. There should be some spots here, some creative wards that could allow Kennen to come from the back.
Exactly. They're the ones that have wards. They're the ones that have the sweepers, and they also have the ability to get away, put Magical Journey down, things like that. And we've been talking about two-man units and jungle support synergy. People have been talking about how you need 3 people to invade now. You need 4 people to move as an entire group to actually get that vision down. But they haven't been going for that just yet. And it looks like Double Red.
Double Red connects onto Exile. No tools left to stay him alive. He is going to flash to safety, though. Small advantage to Flash Wolves. They force him out, but MMD is in the middle. Veritas is in trouble. All is going to connect for Bard, but it is not enough. Knocked up, move set to be knocked out. Unicorns of Love losing control in the middle lane. Chachi. Spear is not going to connect. Flashful is backing off, headed straight for the Baron.
Really big engage by MMD over the Raptor pit, not spotted whatsoever. One wave cleared down, the other one DPS'd out. The Smite DPS'd out. This should be Baron to Flashwolves.
Exactly what you were talking about. Got to have those flank wards. The TP comes through from MMD, and Flashwolves might get the Baron right here.
Ticking down lower and lower. Yes, Karsa's going to take it away. Hylissang and Chachi, have they overstepped? In comes the Abyssal Voyage. They are not welcome here. Stun not going to connect. MMD Sword Art running in. At the end of the day, Spear does connect. Chachi potentially in trouble. MMD wants more. Hylissang gets the double stun over the wall. Exile looking for a play. Only going to connect one. Doesn't want it on the Tom Kench. Double Red is going to back off. Unicorns of Love falling behind here as Flashfulls now control the pace of the game. Oh, in comes the ult. Exile barely making that in time.
It seemed like Unicorns of Love had the inside track to accelerating the game, to finishing out with a Baron, but it was the creative play by MMD and the lack of defensive vision, because they've been so in the mindset of needing to put down offensive vision. Great punish from MMD. We didn't even think he'd be playing at this tunnel. We thought, okay, they've included Rinse. He's going to be starting to learn a bit more. We're learning more about MMD, and so far, so good.
Yeah, he's been looking great. Even his laning phase was pretty damn good considering the matchup, but he wasn't CSing exactly as well as you would like, but otherwise he's been pretty damn good.
And look, he turned a Sheen into a Trinity Force. Now he's going to have serious damage both in the team fights and crucially in the split push. And although right now Vizicachi has that teleport advantage, if that ever changes, he's going to rip through turrets on his own.
A massive threat to the backline now, and they don't have the luxury of peel on the side of Unicorns of Love. So much potential for engage, but if someone gets on top of Exile and Veritas, not a whole ton of tools for those individuals to protect themselves. So they have to respect MMD. And MMD being the playmaker that Flash Wolves need, helping them in this late game decision-making moments by finding those clutch engages.
Exactly, those make or break moments. If he's able to get to Veritas again, Veritas has purchased a QSS, so there is a possibility that he can kind of slip away from it now, but still, it's so much damage from the Poppy with the Trinity Force, and the fact that more items are just coming through for Flash Wolves, and with the fact they have Baron on top of it, looking for those turrets.
Just so punishing for Unicorns of Love that Flash Wolves were able to have their Poppy sit in the side lane, pick up a lot of CS, get item advantages because of all the CS they got, and then not even pick up the Baron. You get punished.
Vizicachi's backing right now. There might be a teleport play behind the Flash Wolves. There's been pings onto the ward that is over the wall. He is waiting for the home guard. Are they going to go for it?
His team's just not in position. I mean, the Caitlyn certainly won't be there, but neither will the Poppies.
Exile is here now. The Shockwave is up and available. The Tempered Fate ready.
Vizicachi has been the captain, the vocal member of the team. He's the one who's been trying to make the plays, and he's got to have to make one here if they want to break it. No, he's going to walk up to the top side. He's wasted too much time inside the base. He's giving up turrets for free.
There's a group to minion wave coming in top, so that's why he reacts. He can't afford to wait anymore. There goes an inner turret as well. Flash Wolves, they had the decisiveness, and it's the indecisiveness of Unicorns of Love. Not something that we could really claim from them the rest of this weekend, but now suddenly, in their first final, indecisiveness is really hurting Unicorns.
Hesitation costs them a tier 2 tower. What else will it cost them in the coming plays as Hylissang does his best to sidestep each and every skill shot. In comes the Abyssal Voyage. It's the Unicorns of Love. They're using it to take down the bottom tier tower. In comes the TP from Kennen. Move is onto the backline. Maple is in trouble. They have no way to CC him down, but he doesn't have the damage to threaten Maple. There is the setup, but is there going to be the follow-up? No, fails to connect the snare. Unicorns of Love need to respect the potential for engage here. Maple still has the ultimate.
Orianna and Kennen both were well out of positions. They didn't have any follow-up CC, so okay, they stopped their turret from going down, but no more for Unicorns.
Yeah, and they even blow the teleport there from Vizicachi.
Veritas so low from the poke, move at half health as well. Things not looking good. No more Baron buff to back them up, but Flash Wolves, a lot of raw power if they want to shoot for a dive here.
Next minion wave will probably be the go time. Veritas did find time to go get the heal up. The health pools will be there, but Flash Wolves, they smell blood.
Exactly, and they've been doing such a great job of sieging this turret. The constant spears coming out from Karsa. And the fact that also the Elder Dragon's almost up. 10 seconds on that one. MMG's gonna charge up the ultimate. Make sure that they get that turret.
Poppycopter zoning off the remaining members of the Unicorns of Love as they lose their first inhibitor tower. Maple, a decent amount of damage going down. Hylissang wants the hero play. Maple caught out. The rest of the team is there. In comes the shockwave. It's not going to be enough. Move alone in the back line, but Tom Kench says no. Chachi says yes, though, as they find their first pick. Maple, will he find the setup? No ult available. Hylissang in trouble. Flash Wolves are starting to turn the fight. Unicorns of Love, though, still hungry for more, but the spear sends them back as Veritas must retreat.
And when Cannon ult's down, when Shockwave's down, when Hylissang is there, they don't have any more CC. Easy for Flash Wolves to kite back. They're going to kite back towards an Elder Drake, and it doesn't seem like Unicorns of Love is in any position to contest.
Exactly, they can't contest it. No teleport from Vizichachi. That's going to be going over to the Flash Wolves.
Elder Dragon now backing them up as well. They may not have a lot to make that buff impactful, but the extra damage will be welcome as they push forward if they want to break that open inhibitor, because they've already been so proactive in poking down the Unicorns.
Now the Unicorns are doing something unorthodox. They're walking in towards where they will be spotted out. That's awkward here for Exile. They knew that was spawning. They're just trying to find something. I imagine it might have been a brush camp. It might have been just following the massive group minion wave in top lane, but not going to be able to have a cheeky brush camp, because you have to think the Flash Wolves are onto them at this point.
Yeah, but Karsa is backing and Maple is in the mid lane. Unicorns of Love may be set to break down this tower, but can they afford to take the fight that follows? Looks like not, so they are going to back off.
Topsy-turvy game, this one. So far, MMD's been the game breaker. That one engage has really been what separated the two teams, because Unicorns of Love had done some great work before. Exile, close to 100% kill participation. He's played out of his mind, but a couple of those Orianna Shockwaves haven't hit as big as they needed to. And even though the score is flawless, the play has not been quite so far.
Have to be careful. At the end of the day, Exile, there's so much pressure on this guy to succeed. You know, he has the major tool that can win a team fight in a moment if he hits it on multiple members, but very difficult for him to do so. The Nidalee, the Vel'Koz, the Ashe, all so comfortable to stay as far away from him as possible, and Move, unfortunately, lacking the damage. Really threaten the back.
Double red.
Oh, double red misses the ult.
Oh,
he's gonna get stunned up.
Punished.
TP coming in. Oh, Tom Kench says no. Chachi wants to go in again, though. Is he going to get the CC? MMD still knocks members out of the fight. This could be advantage for Flash Wolves. Move is just getting cut down. There's nothing there for him, but Chachi moving forward with Exile. The duo solo laners moving in to get more, but Chachi is so low. The stun comes in. Double kill for Exile. Unicorns of Love now moving in mid.
Even with the Elder Dragon, the Unicorns of Love decide to take a fight to Flash Wolves. This is one of the points where Flash Wolves are stronger, but they find a double red out of position. He wasn't thinking that that was what was going to happen to him. That's actually baffling that they decided, boom, that's the moment. They saw it, they saw him out of position, and they took it.
And while 2-for-1 sounds good, because it's moved, they have really no one else to walk up, and with so much poke, there's always the chance that the right spear lands and things turn around from Flash Wolves. So even with the outnumbered, because they have no one else that can catch spears or that can shrug off the damage poke that's coming from Flash Wolves, Unicorns of Love, they find a bit of gold, but nothing else.
Ping's going into the mid lane as the carries are left alone.
They do find themselves a little bit of a teleport advantage, though. 45 seconds on Vizichachi's. Baron is up currently, whereas MMD, his teleport, really far from being up. So they'll be able to split the Flash Wolves however they want. And remember, there is an exposed inhibitor bot and mid here.
Flash Wolves, of course, in control with position of the Baron pit, but do not have the tools to clear out the vision of the Unicorns of Love. They will have knowledge if Flash Wolves opt to start. Karsa just going to back off and clear his jungle as Ashe clears on the bottom side. Unicorns of Love now moving in to take control of the pit for themselves.
See Ashe bottom. They might try a Baron. Remember, Tom is right behind Ashe, so he's there to be able to ferry, but this Baron's going to go quick.
Karsa
exactly
is here as well. 7K counting down. MMD ready with the flank. Here comes the rest of the team. Tom Kench just delivered one in. Are they going to be able to start the fight? Baron's ticking down. Are they going to back off? In goes the ult from Hylissang, but he is low. Will he drop? Chachi and MMD. Solo fight on the backside. Karsa gets one. Orianna's down. Flash Wolves in control of the tempo of the fight. Move trying to make his way out. Flash Wolves ready to cut through the Unicorns. Maple looking for the flank to the side. backing off in the end for the Unicorns, but that will be the Baron for Flash Wolves.
Unicorns of level 1, completely different pages. Hylissang went in for an aggressive use of the magical journey into ultimate. No one else was in position and nearly just cleaned up the Orianna in the backline for the second time. Flash Wolves are going to pick up an uncontested Baron.
And right there, UOL, they didn't even get to use a lot of their ultimates in that fight. It just looked like they were in a bad position and completely scattered, like you said. And that's even more going over to Flash Wolves. They'll be able to go back to, remember when they were sieging bottom? It was absolutely devastating. They slowly chipped away at the turret. Even with the traps down, they still walk up, get a few shots.
Veritas! Makes it out with his life, but the poke coming in from the Unicorn, or from the Flash Wolves rather, is absolutely insane. That inhibitor is nothing in the face of the raw power of this team. They're going to break a second one as well. Hylissang stepping forward, but I don't know what he hopes to accomplish here.
Both, they have a flank Olaf here onto double red.
Move on his way in, but he takes so much damage here. There's no follow-up as well. Overstays his welcome.
So much damage. Vizichachi walked up, has to walk away immediately.
I know there's not going to be any freedom of movement for Unicorns. A double inhibitor down. Minion wave going to be coming from the top side as well. Just some crucial communication errors around the Baron have cost them now to the tune of 2 inhibitors and 2 Barons. And it feels like Flash Wolves are just one solid push away from ending game 1.
2 inhibitors, 2 Barons, and a 9K gold deficit that they now have to stare down. The 600 gold, the 2,000 gold, the 4,000 gold may not mean much at the 45-minute marks, but that is a lot of difference between them. Death caps on both of the AP threats. Ashe at the 6-item threshold. This is a terrifying Flash Wolves to behold, and only 1 inhibitor stands left before they will surely be able to break the base.
Yeah, but now you know exactly where they'll go. Nice dodge from Chachi.
Pulling back in the end. Double red and the rest of Flash Wolves pushing in. Poppy in the mid lane.
Yeah, but also in the bottom lane, you have Exile there. Exile is a big part of these team fights if they want to make it happen. Try to beat Flash Wolves, but Flash Wolves, they've been really good about taking the right fight. Those 2 Barons didn't happen by accident. Flash Wolves were able to actually punish UOL when they saw him out of position.
Exile doing what he can to clear the waves, as are the rest of the Unicorns. Karsa throwing spears over the wall. The geometry strike coming in from Maple. He's trying to land each and every one of those Qs if he can. A lot of potential damage threat coming in. Exile can't comfortably clear the cannon creep. It's the long, slow siege here. The traps keeping the Unicorns safe for now.
And Chachi can go for an engage. He's teleporting in.
All the way in the back. They know that he's there.
There's the setup. This could be perfect. Are they going to get in there? They're pulling back. No. Kane comes to save from Sword Art. Chachi gets exhausted immediately. Unicorns of Love are scattered. MMD disrupts the fight, and Chachi is left alone. Down he goes. Double red gets the kill. The laser comes out and is immediately canceled. Unicorns of Love now on the back foot. Will the final inhibitor break? Hylissang almost deleted instantly. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is on the bottom side. The Abyssal Voyage ferries in the Flash Wolves potentially to their first game win. Unicorns of Love desperately trying to hold on. Karsa gets popped. Orianna is up and available, but it is not enough, and Flash Wolves will take the first game.
Flash Wolves' decision-making around the fights, around the Barons was one of the only things